Today's guest is someone remarkable, to say the very least. They have had plenty of highs and plenty of lows in their life. They have had loss, they have had gain. They have been audacious enough to lock everyone out of their lives when they were at their lowest, to work on themselves, to better themselves. And after all these lows, enough was enough, and that is when they decided that the only sensible thing left to do was to join the Australian Defence Force. And now today, he, 1 year later, after making the crude decision of joining the army, he is now happily living on base, operating as a craftsman. And then this is when I approached him for an interview. This is where I sat down with him to talk about his life and our experiences together as friends. For the last 5 years I have known this gentleman. We met in school playing baseball in my first year living in Australia, and thereafter, many years later, me and him ended up moving in together into a unit, and this is where we were living the best part of our lives. We were working together for a long time in construction. We were exercising together. We were spending time together with both our families because they were all very close with each other. It was a very, very good time in both our lives. And as you have it, things don't always go your plan. He lost his job in construction, and so was he. He was lost as well. And after a lot of thinking, he decided to join the army. He decided to go into that direction in his life because it would have the most stability, it would provide an education, and it's simply just something he's always thought about, even during school. So, today, without any further ado, the guest that I picked and whose mind I will be picking is no one other than Kade, Bogdog, Bogie. My name is Llewellyn, and you're listening to Finding Borders. Roll intro. Season 2, Episode 3. What's up, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm going well, I suppose.
Going like a Boeing.
That's it.
Yeah, man. So, you're finally on an episode.
Yeah, I know.
What's that like?
This was the weirdest part because I've been saying this, I've been telling you this.
I think I know what you're going to say, and you haven't stopped saying it.
I haven't stopped saying it, but it is true. You interviewed some very intelligent people, especially for this new upcoming season as well. You're going to interview a lot of intelligent people, and you get old ass me come out of nowhere, and now you've decided to interview me.
No, man, you got some stuff in the back there. Don't be so hard on yourself. I mean, sure, you're not like these. I don't know, man. Like, what's her name? Roosevelt, old mate's wife.
Oh,
Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah. Yep.
Who started the UN. She's got this thing where she's like, just don't compare yourself, bro. Comparison's what kills joy and happiness. So, plus, mate, like you've been through the works, man. Like I've been, first of all, you and I have been friends since like year 11. I was in year 11, you were year 12, back in 2017, and like we met playing baseball for Wodonga Senior. We ended up making it somehow, by some miracle, to the state. We made it to the state finals, and we lost, but that's where it sort of started, and we kept in contact, and it's been the ringer, man. Like you're still very insightful. Like I could talk about a lot of stuff with you. You're not a tool, that's for sure. Plus, I've had people on here that have I had. Like the 4th episode, I had like Christian, my South African mate. Like he's like us. He hasn't achieved as much as these other people will, if you want to put it that way. But
yeah.
it's fun, man.
Yeah.
And plus, like, you know, you've got things going for you. You've got a YouTube channel. You're an up and coming SoundCloud rapper.
Oh no.
You had a bit of a career, didn't you?
I like to think of myself as like a little bit of an all rounder.
Yeah.
Like,
you can do it.
I'll try something. Probably not the best at doing it.
Yeah.
But I'll try something just for the shits and gigs.
Yeah, and see what happens.
Yeah, the YouTube thing was definitely one of those where I was like,
I love going through like your older stuff on YouTube, and like you had a Q&A, bro.
Oh,
you were sitting there next to your pool, and you're just like, so first of all, you call yourself Bogdog. On the that name stuck. Okay, I mean, Bogdog is like your retro on your car. Bogdog was like on the back of your one iPad.
Yeah,
it's engraved on your iPad. You're like, yeah, Apple had this free engraving that they were doing with their at that time.
Yeah.
So you bought yourself an iPad, a Bogdog on the back.
Yeah.
And you had your podcast, the Bogcast. Just stuck around, man. And I saw you interview your Q&A. You're sitting next to the pool, real professional, like with your sunnies on, and you're like answering questions. And one of them was like, "So where does Bogdog come from?" Like, "Oh, you know, one of my mates just at school said, 'Hey, Bogdog,' because your last name is Bogie, Kade Bogie. Hey, Bogdog." And like, "Yeah, just stuck ever since, bro." And then you go into like I watched like your fire single that you dropped, man.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like a 3-part in one single. What was one of the lines? Something about she just want that chicken nugget.
Yeah.
Something like that. I tried looking it up. Look, I couldn't find it. But
I probably should have released lyrics with it.
Like a transcript.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Like I said, that was in Melbourne when I moved to Melbourne that one time, and
yeah, I remember that.
So that was after school. What, 2019? Yeah, it would have been 2019.
This was in. It would have been like early 2019 because you also then moved back. Was it end of 2019?
Yeah.
Mid 2019.
Yeah.
That was actually a really really good weekend. That one was the one time I went and saw you.
Yeah.
Like we were supposed to, me and a friend were supposed to go to Melbourne and stay in a hotel room there. He ended up cancelling. He had to work or something, or he had an excuse, and the room's already been paid for, man. Like the room was paid for, the deposit was paid. I can't cancel now. It's like a Thursday. I'm leaving Friday after work, sort of thing. So I drove down, and I think I crawled around town that night. So went to the casino. I went to this one really nice Irish bar. They had Guinness on tap for like, I don't know, so cheap, man. Like $10 a schooner. Yeah, you're pulling that face. It's a whole acquired taste on its own.
Yeah.
Anyways, the next day, I drove out to Werribee. I saw you and your housemates who were living in a place there on the outskirts of Werribee. And then we actually ended up like catching, because I still also had like my Subaru back then. So like we all hopped in the little go-kart, and we went down to Geelong.
Yes.
We went down to the pier there in Geelong.
Love Geelong.
And that was actually, I reckon, if Geelong didn't have a beach, it'd be pretty average.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, we sat there on the one pier. The pier had like a bar at the end.
Yeah,
we sang cocktails and yeah, man, that's like dog days now.
That is a while ago.
Yeah, so
shit. I'm starting to, like, even when you said about year 12, I was like, fuck. Even thinking about how I got to senior in the first place, like all of that, even back then was crazy.
Yeah, because that wasn't supposed to happen. Like you changed schools
in year 12.
Yeah, and this is what a lot of people don't like know about, you know, me as well. Like when I moved to Australia, I was like supposed to go to year 12, and then the school counsellor and the principal recommended I redo year 11 because socially it's better for you. You can make friends, because when you're in year 12, now I didn't know this at the time, but year 12 is a lot of drama, man, a lot of toxicity going on. People just want to get out of that place. People dropped out. People discounted themselves, dropping out of the course they want to do, get into an easier one just because they'll get through year 12. It was full on. And for you to go and do that halfway through the year as well, man.
Yeah, it was a different experience, especially leaving what I had behind at the other school.
Yeah.
Born and bred here my whole life, like in Wodonga.
Yeah, because
my
it's
whole life. So
it's
like,
a year 1 to 12 school. Like it's
Yeah.
all the way through school.
I didn't go there originally. I went to Wodonga Primary,
Yeah.
which is just, from
Wodonga Primary.
to
Yeah.
year 6. That was good enough. It was public school. It was what mum and dad could afford at the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then once we started earning a bit more money, they
They put you in Lutheran
put
school.
her in private school, only because of Harrison, my younger brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, because he was getting into fights and stuff, because
And you had to be the guy that stepped in. And
he is
he's at
he's a
least.
little troublemaker. He was
Yeah.
back then anyway. He's
Yeah.
fine now, but back then he was a little troublemaker, so we decided to go to Victory instead, and loved it.
I thought about this on the way over. You guys are polar opposites, you and your brother. Like, first of all, your brother is like nearly 6 foot tall.
Mm-hmm.
He's like taller than me.
Mm-hmm.
And like, but at the same time, he still looks like, you don't get me wrong, like jawline and the eyebrows and the all the facial features. But like, he's like, he would isolate himself a lot more. He's comfortable sitting in a room by himself, playing games or whatever he does in his spare time.
Yeah.
Listens to music or watches videos. Like, he's comfortable doing all that sort of stuff. Whereas you're like a social butterfly, man. You're like, think about it, you need attention to survive.
Yeah, especially, I suppose, towards the end of schooling and stuff, I thought, like, that's when I thought the most. I've only recently started to sort of transition over to not needing as much,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's
validation, I suppose, because fucking back then,
Mm.
I had no self-confidence. I was just like, I
Man.
need validation all the time.
and no one did.
Exactly.
Like, even people who thought they had all the confidence back then. Like, you get people who are good at school and you get people who are good at life.
Mm.
Like you look at photos of yourself from years ago and you think, wow, I was a boy back then. You sometimes it's really hard, even for me, to like try and think about the stuff I thought about back then. Like, what was my mindset like?
Yeah.
Was my mindset, I just want to go to uni and see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
You didn't even know what you were going to do for lunch the next day, and you got to figure out what you're going to do for the next decade or two of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
This is what a lot of people, even some of the teachers and counselors might not have understood, but there's a lot of pressure on you when you're in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
And it's like the school's a factory that has to manufacture kids who have high grades, and then so therefore they keep pushing to make sure when you answer the surveys you are more certain of your answers.
Yeah.
Or make sure you get these marks up, or study hard because you need your not your VCE, your ATAR needs to be this or that to get into this or that course.
Mm-hmm.
Apply for this course in that part of the world because you'll get credits for it because you're disadvantaged being in a regional school.
Yeah. And I suppose I didn't apply myself at all during school. I can tell you that for a fact.
You still got it.
I still got the
Yeah.
year 12, which is, especially in our family, we didn't have many people pass year 12.
Yeah.
So I was grateful that I did that.
Yeah.
It took me a lot. Like I said, I had to move schools because I was going through some women trouble.
Yeah.
Which was great from back in the other school, which was...
Not just like fights or just disagreements.
Yeah, so I had a girlfriend in year 11 and we were pretty chill and whatever else, and then I decided to break it off
Okay.
because things got a little bit hectic, chaotic, and that's when some of my mates who liked her previously started dating.
Mm.
And he told me, and that's the thing, what I didn't want to date her because my mate liked her. Because she was new to the school, she came in, and I was like, alright, sweet, I'll let you go with her. Sweet, let you two do your thing.
Yeah,
but she ended up liking me, and then I sort of ended up liking her back after a while. And then after we split up, that's when those two started talking.
Mm.
I don't know, it wasn't obviously despite me, but I felt like that. I was like...
You would feel that way.
Exactly.
You would.
So I was like, fuck you.
Mm.
Well, I know it sounds harsh, but that's legit my mindset was like...
Yeah.
And I suppose my mindset does get like that sometimes, where it's like it's like always the back against the wall sort of thing. It's a good thing and a bad thing, I think, because...
You mean like nowhere to go but forward, or
Yeah,
tear
it's
the wall
more
down?
like a thing like where if something bad happens, like if someone's talking bad about my name or whatever, my back will be against the wall, and I have no choice but to sort of like push out of it. It's weird to explain, but that's exactly how I felt.
Do you think you'd handle that differently today?
Yeah.
Let's say it was the exact same circumstances, but different people, because
Yeah.
obviously your friend and you as well would have would not happen again.
Yeah.
Because you've learned from it.
Yeah.
But if it was like you and someone that you know, whether it's at work or you're in the army, it's on base, would you then say the same thing? And I'll move bases because of you.
No.
Out of my head, out of my way.
I don't let it get to me because of that situation. I feel like it taught me a big lesson on it. Like, it's good to sort of move yourself out of a situation, but it will never give you closure.
Yeah, you got to get closure.
That's what's the most annoying part was about that whole thing.
You didn't get closure.
Not necessarily, no.
So you haven't, from that whole situation, you haven't got closure, and it's years and years later now.
I took it with me into other relationships, which I regret.
What part of it?
I suppose my untrustworthiness towards the other half. Like, I couldn't, like, red flags would be going off in my head. Sometimes for good reason, sometimes for not. But red flags would always go off in my head. Yeah. And you saw, especially when we moved in together, that situation with my other ex-girlfriend. Yeah, that was sort of how that tore apart, because we both sort of had red flags going. In a way.
I will add to that though. You see, when we were moving in together, first of all, that was a really, really draining process. Like, we would both, at the time you were working in precast work, so you're doing construction.
Yep.
And I was working in construction as well, selling concrete to these precast yards.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, you mentioned it in a previous episode.
I did.
Yeah.
I mentioned it with Tom Neve. And so I'd come over and test the concrete, and then you and all the other guys would be working. I'm like, oh, what's this monkey doing here? Like,
man.
Well, when you pay peanuts, you get monkeys.
Yeah.
So
100%.
And this is what I said. I'll get back to this in a minute. But when we were looking for houses, so first of all, we had to like get all these applications going. First of all, we had to apply for the house. This was also just after like the first ever lockdown.
Yeah.
This is like mid 2020, man.
Yeah.
So we had to get applications. We had to find times after work to inspect, which was really hard because we finished at 2 and there's always the potential for overtime.
Yeah.
You couldn't make an inspection one day because you had to work overtime. I had to like literally rush to an inspection after work. Like, it's a half an hour drive, and it's so cool. This one song by Falls came up on the radio, and it was so intense, man. Like, it's called Like Lightning. It's playing on the radio as I'm rushing. It's about that time where drums going off.
The better would be like an Initial D song.
Yeah.
Drifting across the borders.
Yeah, bro. Constant drifting. Deja vu. So that's seriously what it was like. The song is like 5 minutes long, bro. Down the road to home, and the song was still playing. Like, I wasn't speeding, but I was like, yeah man, I have to go. Be like lightning.
Yeah.
So, and then we didn't even get that house. The one we I rushed over, didn't get it. There's another house, absolutely loved it, didn't get it, man.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You start picturing what it's like living in this house.
Yeah.
And then your heart gets torn in half.
100%.
So we had to like go through dozens of applications, half a dozen applications a week. And the thing is, what's really hard is that, when it comes to all the paperwork sort of things, I find that's between the two of us, that's where I excel. I'm like, okay, listen, we have these 3 applications. We have to do them now. We have to be organised and do them now so we can send them off. So we'd come together after work and spend a good 2 hours on that sort of stuff.
Yep.
And, we long story short, we found one that gave us a chance. My dad actually helped us out there. He had to give us a reference and put his name on the lease with me. And he even went to the real estate agent. This is what I love about my dad, man. He's so genuine. He goes to them, he says, no, listen, my boy, these are good kids. And he he pulls out his palm. He says, I raised him by the hand, if you know what I mean, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that gave her an indication of, plus he's on the lease, so if we go broke, he can cover our half.
Yeah.
So we got it, and yeah, man, halfway through that process, you called me up one night, because we spoke a lot. We had to speak a lot because we were moving in.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, bro, you were in tears. You were like crying. You're like, man, something's not right. Something's wrong. I don't feel good. And this is when you were still with your ex, at the time. And she, you were crying, and I'm like, man, what's up? Like you're so good at the moment. Like things are going really well for both of us. And you're getting this gold medal syndrome all of a sudden, which I thought that's what it was, but it turned out to be. It turned out to be a red flag, like you said. Like you were being, I can't speak for what she said, but she was breaking you down in little ways. You know, she was from what I could tell, whatever it was draining you mentally and physically, and it just. And I talked you up. I'm like, man, listen, we've come this far. Look back at what you've done, not what's ahead. And you know, you picked yourself up, which was great. And then as soon as you did break up, and we were already living together and stuff, like you were just, of course you take time to grieve for these things. There's a part of you that dies off. You were looking forward to it, but yeah, you got so much better. You were brighter after that, man. Like I can't explain it. And my dad also said this. He said, you guys don't realize this yet, but this is the best time of your lives, us living together. That was insane. Like
that was good.
You got me to sign up to the same gym as you. We signed up to the Club Lime in Albury. I wasn't going to, but it was about time I changed my gym, because I've been going to another one since I moved to Albury. And then I was like, yeah, look, I have to reapply for the contract because of COVID and it all expired. So I'll change gyms. So it's we were going to the gym together before work in the morning, and then from home we'd have breakfast and then go to work. We'd work all day in the shed together, pretty much, because I spent a lot of my time in the week at your shed. And then we'd go home and we spent a lot of time together.
We did.
Unintentionally spent a lot of time together, man. That was real good. We were house lives mating together. I mean, we were housemates living together.
That was a good time in my life, really. Especially, I did crash really hard after the breakup, though. There was that point in time where I took up smoking again.
I remember that. Like when we moved in, you bought a little cup to put all your cigarettes in. You were smoking a lot at work, and I'm not a hypocrite. I was probably joining you in half of those, but you were I was worried. You were going for packets, man. I'm like, oh, I hope he doesn't become a chain smoker.
That was it, yeah.
But yeah, you I mean, even me, to add to that, how when you go through something traumatic, it's like the body tries to kill itself in a way. Like with smoking, for instance, or binge drinking. Like when I went through my most recent breakup, I don't know what it was, man. I just, for the first time in so long, I remember just going down the road from where I worked and buying a packet of cigarettes from the service station. And I remember once or twice a week, I just sit down and have a few and just think about things, and you go, yeah, that's it. That's how it is, man. It'd be like that sometimes. And and I looked forward to it. Every Friday night after work, I'll go home to my parents' place and I'll just catch up with them, sit on the balcony and have a smoke, look up over the valley, look at things and just think about life. What the hell now? You know, And then life doesn't seem to stop sometimes, man. I think I told you this. I know when I talk about you, I bring this up all the time, but you were dealt a couple of bad hands. You were dealt a few bad hands back to back, man. When you moved to, I think it started with you going to Werribee. So you moved to Werribee, and from what I understood, a lot of the work was not contract work,
labouring work.
So you'd have a job for 2 or 3 weeks, then you could put somewhere else for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I know your friend, one of the friends you were living with, said that you get used to the environment and the people, and then you just got to go somewhere else the next month. That's just how the work was. It's
Yeah,
not
it's-
working for one person. It's working for different companies.
Yeah,
man.
yeah, exactly
different
right.
inductions.
Different inductions, yeah. And,
So you did that in Werribee,
hmm.
and then you came back, and you were going to do an electrical apprenticeship. I remember that, bro.
Shit.
You did an electrical apprenticeship for about a month or two. Then we had Christmas break, and then the guy never got back to you. That January, February, you had to get your mum to actually call him up, and he said, "Oh yeah, sorry, nah."
Yeah, exactly right.
Because he wasn't getting back to you.
He wasn't getting back to me. Yeah.
And then after that, is that when you started doing precast work?
Yeah, that's when I handed in my resume.
Yeah.
And then started doing that, and then I was doing really well there. I thought I was.
No, you were perfect,
I
man.
felt like I was doing a really good job.
Like I'll put it this way, like you got in there, and you were doing some precast work in Melbourne in Werribee. Like you were doing these concrete tubes with the cages on the inside. Looked you stood them up and let them dry. It looked very interesting.
Yeah.
And you did that, so you just gone from that into precast work, like just a hop and a skip away in the same industry. And then, and I did say this to Tom as well. Well, first of all, you battened down the hatches a lot too. You were like going to bed at 8 and getting up at 4:30 to go to the gym before work, then go straight to work, and then like work and come back and then go from there probably back to the gym or go somewhere.
Yep.
And you took a day off one day, and then they said, "Sorry, mate. We don't need you anymore."
Yeah.
I've had that same phone call before from the same company, man.
Yeah.
It is an absolute shit feeling.
It is shocking.
Cannot compare it to a lot of things.
And yeah, obviously, on that, I was doing the weekend work as well towards the end
with the pressure washing.
With the pressure washing,
and that saved you in the end.
Yeah, that's ultimately what I ended up doing as a sort of a full-time gig, but it wasn't supplying the money that I needed. And that's when we ultimately went to Sydney.
I remember
on vacation,
that.
And then that's when I decided to get this new job. So
that's when you we were in Sydney in November that year, 2020, and we were at we saw my brother. It's like it's like the Holy Trinity. He had gone through a breakup too, my brother. He was with her for 3 years.
Yep.
So he broke up with her like 2 days before we left. I'm like, mate, we were supposed to stay with you guys. Now we have to like book a hostel on right there in the street on Bondi. Like you can see the ocean from the hostel. That was actually pretty cool. Not gonna lie, man. But we did that, and we went to the Coogee Bay Hotel to meet up my brother and to meet up his friends and stuff. Really, really good friends. And one of them was in the army. Or probably still is in the Defence Force. He was doing something. I can't remember what, but he wasn't like an infantry soldier. He was like Special Forces or something. And we sat there. We all spoke. You seemed very interested in what he had to say, and I was interested in what the other guys had to say, because one of them was like an economist or a business owner. Like he doesn't work. He's financially independent. Yeah. So like, okay, cool. I want to talk to you. Yeah. And on the way back from Sydney, just as the first cluster started, no coincidence, we just went to Sydney. Then a cluster started. Then a cluster started. Not just a coincidence. Definitely just a coincidence. I won't say this, but the next time, the second time I went to Sydney, when you were already where you were,
there was another
cluster thereafter. So just a coincidence, man. Just a coincidence. So on the way back, bro, you were quiet. Now you talk a lot. I talk a lot. We always have things to say and comments to make, and I just couldn't get a conversation out of you. And this is like way past Campbelltown, so we were driving for an hour and a half, and you were deep in thought, and then you had this light bulb moment, like this big old click, and you said, "I want to join the Defence Force. I'm going to join the army." This was in November, bro. So you called your mum up. I remember that. You picked the phone up and you phoned your mum straight away. You said, "Listen, Mum, I want to join the army. I want to join the Defence Force." And you did everything you had to do. You did your medicals. You kept pushing on with your pressure washing job. Your pressure washing job, the work was really bad, man. Like you didn't have work a lot of days. And
no.
I found you were making money. Seriously, you were barely covering your half of the rent. You're barely covering groceries. I felt sorry for you. I'm like, I can't.
So bad for you, man. Man, you have to pick up my shit.
I'm already, working. I'm already redlining on my end. Like, I'm like, I wish I could do more for Kade. I wish I could pull more strings for him. And by then, I had met someone as well, so that was taking up a lot of my time as well. Yeah. And yeah, so you kept pressing on through that, and came March, you got in, you got enlisted. Everything went well. You passed all the tests, the psych, you ended up rolling your ankle in the middle of an indoor soccer game when we were playing indoor soccer. And you were really worried about that because
I thought I broke it, and then I was like, "Fuck, for the physical, I'm gonna be."
Yeah.
But,
No, it was swollen. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I went there with you. Like if you left your shoe on, it would not have popped out as much as it did.
Yeah, exactly right.
So yeah, you did that, and then you joined the army, and nothing. Radio silence, man. Like I got a note from you. It's still in my wallet. Actually, you wrote to me. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we were both crying when we read it. I'm like, oh, he's doing so well. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah.
You said to me how tough it is. Well, first of all, you go, hey, mate. I'm like, well, of course I know you're going to be like that, like so laid back. Just how you been? I'm like, oh, I can't say how I've been. It's a note. And you're like, and then like there's all sorts of scribbles and words are like crossed out.
Yeah,
like I meant to put this in here.
Cracked the shits with it a couple of times. I was getting over it because I'm sitting there trying to write it. And
trying to spell.
Yeah.
And
I don't have my phone, so I can't,
you spell words.
Spell correct anything.
So I read it and I'm like, that meant so much. And I wrote back to you and I made sure to send that to you straight away. Like that was on top of my list.
Yeah, I got that. That was a bit of morale for that day.
Yeah.
It's good.
And like, then a few things happened and me and her broke up. Around about the same time, you had your march out in May, 2.5 months later, end of May this year, and we were in lockdown. So Victoria was in another lockdown, so your parents couldn't come and see you. So you asked me to come because I live over the border in New South Wales, and I'm like, I'd be honoured to. Yeah. I'd be absolutely honoured to go, and I went, and I had an exam that day, so. An online exam, so like I went to your march out and we went back to the hotel room and I ended up doing it as you're handing me drinks, like here you go, mate, here's another hit for you, mate.
Bald headed me.
Stop, have a quick break, have a smoke. I get back into
having a dart, having a drink.
But yeah, like it was just really good, man. I'm happy I could be there for you. I'm happy I could be the guy in the corner with the foam finger.
Yeah.
Number one, I'm your biggest fan, man.
Yeah.
And now it's a year later. This is November 2021.
Yep.
you a year ago, around about this time, you said, I want to join the army.
Yeah, crazy.
You can look back at that now and say, I did it.
I did it, yeah.
I joined the army.
Yeah.
Kade, Bogie, Bogdog, a year ago, where was he? And where is he now a year later?
Yeah. And
Progress.
Yeah. And I look back at even just a few years ago, like coming out of school, fresh out of school, and thinking what I'm going to do. Like you said, I've had that many jobs now. I went through different, I've done labouring, concreting, everything, because I was just bouncing around jobs. And when I did the roadworks for a year, travelling in between states and stuff, I was packing weight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was the heaviest I've ever been. And that shit was probably why I came back. I went to Melbourne, and that was like the biggest I've ever been, especially being in Melbourne.
You're very self-conscious about that. About you always seem to reflect back on where you were in terms of weight and where you are now. You always, you never bring it up, but you do say, have a tribute to, this is a photo of me in 2019, and I look like a guinea pig. Yeah. A really big guinea pig.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
right.
A year later, I'm like, I'm swole. I got these gains, bro. Like, I think you're just trying to show that, look at what I've lost. Yeah. Look at all the weight that I've dropped.
It was a massive mental game more for me. Massive mental game. It wasn't even about being swole, because I'm not swole, but I'm heaps better than I was. Swole enough, exactly right. Like, it was just more of a mental game, saying, especially because I received messages at the time saying, like, look how big you've got, and Mum would say it, and then just before she passed away, sort of said it to my mum. Yeah. And then that's when the last sort of string hit for me. Before she passed away, that's when I visited during Christmas. And this was when I reached a century. So I raised the bat. I was 100 kilos for a man my size.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's...
Big boy.
Yeah, considering I'm not in the height department. So for a man my size to be that heavy was not ideal.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I remember Nan telling my mum, you know, like, oh, I wish you, you know, never gotten this big, and
really,
yeah, and then she passed away like a month later, and then that's when I was like, fuck it,
gotta do it.
I gotta do it for Nan now, like, and then you know, obviously the people messaging me, it was like more of a fuel to the fire sort of thing. Like I said, I had the mentality of, well, fuck you, I'm gonna, you know, lose this weight just to. It's almost pettiness. I'll bring it down to that, but it's more of a competitive mindset. And
well, you being the fuel to your fire. Every time someone tells you, look how big you've gotten, don't get me wrong, your nan and your mum, like, if they said that to your face, then it comes from a place of love.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly,
your parents, man, as much as you don't value their opinions and their insights, sometimes, you being anyone, if there's a reason they're saying it to you.
Yeah.
There's a reason your parents pick up on things and bring it up.
Yeah.
And that came from a place of love. But
yeah.
With people who say, look how big you've gotten, that's taking an L, you're failing. But you're like, okay, cool, great.
Yeah.
Let's get to work.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's get to work.
Sort of, and that's when, you know, I started to get motivated. And I think the main thing for me is I've always been a very competitive person.
Very, very competitive.
Yeah.
It's an understatement.
And it's almost like a detriment, but it can be a very good thing because I've achieved so a lot doing that.
We pushed each other.
Exactly.
That's what I remember is when we were doing indoor soccer, man. Like, a lot of it was just fitness.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just planning out and stuff. And we had this thing where we would run from my house, my parents' house, my house at the time, in East Albury, all the way to the park where we trained in South Albury. And that's a good 4 or 5 kilometer hike if you're like walking. We used to jog that, run that, whatever, and we stopped 2 or 3 times along the way just to like walk. But as you would stop to walk and I'd keep going, I noticed shortly thereafter you just come zooming right past me, and then as soon as I get tired and you come past me again, I'm like, no way, no way, bro, you're not getting past me, man. It's like we pushed each other like that, and living together, we'd push each other to go to the gym, we'd push each other to just be better. There's a really positive friendship that we have. Like, we just, and that being competitive, you know, you had to compete against yourself. You had to say, all right, man, well, this is big Bogie, I want to be little Bogie now. I'm gonna push him out. Yeah.
And for my sake, I'm very grateful for the people that I've had in my life, because it's more of I love, you know, all my friends that I've met are the biggest friends to me, but I also look at it as like a rivalry sort of thing. Yeah. Like, you've got qualities that I want, so I'm going to fucking work hard.
Yeah, it's not about the car,
to learn something
the
from
cars and the possessions. Yeah. It's about the morals and the examples that they're setting, man.
The mentalities. If
you surround yourself with a lot of smart people and a lot of good, hard-working people, man, and you take them with you when you succeed as well, man. You say, listen, you guys, you've got a barber shop, you've got a t-shirt printing business, you've got your own restaurant. I don't care if I can get all 3 of those services cheaper somewhere else. I'll go to you guys because you're my friends and I want to see you succeed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm taking you guys with me. Yeah. Or you're taking me with you. You know, however it goes. That's so good, because you find a lot of people who are content in life, and they meet people who are content as well. So a lot of them, I would say, our age, waste their time and money chasing cars and clubs and women and clothes and brands and
women, man, and especially.
You look at that stuff and you think, okay, so how much do you spend on alcohol a week? Oh, I don't know, like $90. Okay, cool. How much do you spend on fuel a week? Oh, about 200, because you know you're always speeding and you're always driving around unnecessarily I don't know, chasing after people. How much you spend on clothes? This, that, and then you're like, okay, so, and I go, I don't have enough money at the end of the month. Well, that's why. You see all these things you're wasting your money on. These things that you don't need. These things you could you could live below your means.
Yeah.
Chasing all these things.
Exactly.
And it just makes me angry because you can live below your means and still have a quality life, man. Like you can still associate with quality people, and once you're in that lifestyle I just expressed, and you do a full 180 and just say, listen, I'm gonna get on my shit now. I'm gonna get real. You'll find who the real ones are. Then some of them will go with you, and some of them will just keep on going and leave you behind.
Exactly, and especially during the weight loss sort of journey as well. That's what I experienced, was the people who I thought were very close, because I tried to distance myself to try and actually lose weight for a long time. I just sort of...
You just focus on yourself.
Exactly. And my best mates were the ones who I could come back to and nothing would have changed. The other ones would be like, why the fuck are you not messaging me? Like, why aren't we hanging out today?
Well, you've got a phone, you can message me too, buddy.
Exactly.
You know, like...
You know what I mean? Like...
But that's how it is, man. A lot of the stuff...
It is crazy.
A lot of the stuff you do alone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things you gotta do alone.
Yeah.
Not because you choose to, but you can't do it with people. You know, there's things I have to do alone in life. I can't, as much as I'd like to, I can't have a gym buddy. Yeah. Like, I have to do it alone. I have to, like...
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm rude half the time. Like, people in the gym try and talk to me. I'm like, listen, thank you, but I have to, like, get back to my routine. I have to do this. I have to get into it. It's just things you can't do with people, man.
Yeah.
You can't do the 4 a.m. starts with everyone. You can't do the exercise with everyone. You can't paint the picture for everyone. You have to do things alone, man. I told you this last night. My lifestyle at the moment is just work. If I'm not studying, work, come home, gym, edit, work on this podcast, and then clean up, have a shower, go to bed. I don't have time for... The only people I have time for are the ones I'm interviewing or my other hosts.
Yeah.
Like, that's really all and I'm happy with that. Someone the other day pointed out, like, oh, you've been a hermit crab lately. I'm like, I guess I have, but I'm not alone. I don't feel lonely. I've got friends and family I can go see now. I make time for friends and family. That is so important. That thing you said about your nan and your mum, family is so important, man. You make time for family. Even if you're busy, you prioritize family. You just, I don't know, man, because you don't know what tomorrow brings.
Yeah.
Again, Tom Neve, we spoke about if I died tomorrow, would you be happy?
Yeah.
Would you have done and said everything you could have done and said at that point in time?
Yeah.
See who you got to see. Man, I always make a point of telling people I love them before I go.
Yeah. Seriously,
man, family especially. If something happens after I put the phone down, I just said I love you, at least they know I love them.
Yeah.
Like, even in a fight, man, if you're in a relationship and you're fighting, bro, you don't go leave the house mad at each other, man. Like, on paper, that's what you're supposed to do. That thing where you're saying to them, no, we're not going to bed until we resolve the issue. It's like 5 a.m. Like, come on, let's just get it over with.
I'm petty, bro. I wouldn't. I'm petty.
You just mute the messages. No,
I'll be like, I'll leave.
I don't care. I don't care.
I don't care. But yeah, touching on the family stuff, like, I'm probably as well, like, grateful for my family, because my family, like, shit, like, you're gonna get, touch wood, future episode, maybe my father on there, and it'd be really interesting to see how close of a mindset that we both have, because I don't really talk to him in depth about that sort of stuff, but he's always someone that I can rely on. Like, he's my biggest role model for sure, 100%. He always has been, always will. And even my mum, battling through what she had gone through to sort of come back, like going through melanoma.
Yeah, because she had melanoma.
Yeah, back in 2014, I believe. Yeah, it was. Because I was just starting high school, and that's when she got diagnosed with melanoma. She was battling that for a few years.
What was that like? Seeing your mum battling stuff?
That was tough. Especially the trips to Melbourne. Like...
Yeah.
Especially when she got it again, because she had the mentality of the second time will be it. And
wow.
when she told us that she had it again, that's when I was like, fuck, this could be the end of Mum. This is it, yeah. And a lot of people are unfortunate that people die from cancer, but I think I was more grateful that she did pass through that, that stage, especially in life when Dad wasn't his happiest, but he stood by her side, and for that alone, I respect my dad from that alone. That situation was so hard to get your wife down to Melbourne, work, keep the food on the table, pay for the bills,
and still have the answer to everything.
And still, keep me and Harrison afloat. Even though, Harrison was struggling during school, I wasn't the best during school either. The
whole family took a knock.
Yeah, especially at that stage. But we got out of it somehow.
You made it.
Yeah, we did.
You pressed on, man.
Yeah. And that's why I look up to particularly those people a lot in my life. And that's why you said keep family close. Man. That's why I keep my family close. Especially my mum. You've met my mum.
She's lovely.
She is so smart.
Doesn't say no to a beer.
Fucking loves a good beer. And loves laying on the couch.
But she is smart.
She is so wise.
Sometimes I sit there and I talk to her and I listen. And sometimes she listens to me all the time. She's a good listener. And she brings stuff up. And I'm like, whoa, how'd you even pick that? She reads people so fucking well. She goes, you like this, don't you? I'm like, what? How'd you know that? How'd you know that?
Reading people so well. She knows, especially me, when I'm going through a tough time with someone or something.
She knows what's up.
She knows.
But that's her job, man.
And
that's her
especially
job.
The mental manipulation stuff that I've been through with exes and people, whatever the fuck else. I'll always go to her and be like, why are they doing this? And be like, alright, so let's look at the background. Let's look at the past, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I think I like being a social butterfly, because I like experiencing different people's opinions on stuff, because it's learning. You learn how people behave. You learn what's good and what's bad.
You sum people up too. Yeah,
I mean, it's bad to some degree to sum people up in categories.
No, you just.
But you sort of get the gist.
You see who you would associate with. Yeah. Who you agree with and who you don't agree with.
Exactly.
Get opinions. You learn a lot of things when you talk to people, man. You could bump into a pilot at a bar and he can explain to you how an engine of a plane works, and that 2 years down the line you remember that conversation. I spoke to a pilot at a. Yeah. Or you see things, you hear things, and that information can save your life somewhere along the line, I like to listen to people. I like to listen to someone you would call a fool talk. Not that I'm saying he's a fool because he's beneath me. I'm just saying someone who just absolutely doesn't have his life together, or she for that matter. You listen to them when they speak, because I find they give you examples of what not to do. Yeah. How not to do things. Yeah. And you take from that and you go, okay, if you really want, you can use that as a benchmark against yourself. And you go, okay, well, I'm being too hard on myself. Talk to people, get insights on things, and you just get to learn the human nature.
You get to spot, especially early on in conversation. I never used to be good at it, but liars and stuff like that, manipulators, people like that. Yeah. You sort of see it earlier on in the signs.
How?
It's a combination of sort of mannerisms that they have, certain mannerisms and stuff like that. Because Mum's been studying this shit for years. Yeah. It's she knows a lot. And obviously it's because of her past as well. Yes. So, yeah. When she sits down and tells me, X person did this because, of her upbringing, etc., people with mental health do this, it makes sense. It's it all sort of puzzles pieces together. And it's given me a more positive look on people, not to judge people so quickly and stuff like that.
Oh, hell no. No.
Like you said, I'm social butterfly. I can mingle with anyone, really. I don't choose to because some people are really really bad out there.
Like just not in line with you.
Yeah, not in line with my morals.
Yeah.
And that shit is like whole different kettle of fish. But just touching on like the mental health side of things, it's like it's like an experience thing as well. Like, because I've had aunties and cousins and stuff, etc. Like, that have been to jail, you know, gone to mental health facilities, like, committed suicide, etc. Like that, like that, all that experience as well under my belt to see how people operate really does help with everyday life. And that's what I think helped with my recent jobs, you know, relationships with family, relationships with people. It's helped. And that's why I like talking to people so much, because, you know, it's just part of the job. I like to be positive around people because it's like, shit, they could be going through a shit time.
Yeah.
That's just like, yeah.
You don't know if you're the if your last input is what tips all the dominoes over.
Yeah.
You know, and sets things in motion, and then that's it for them.
Yeah. And then you learn not to take shit to heart as well.
Oh, definitely not taking things personally, man.
You build a wall, like a mental barrier, especially as men.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Once you hit a point where you go, you know, you're like what you're doing now, you're bettering yourself. You put a wall up to sort of make yourself the man that you want to be. You know what I mean? Like
100%, man. It's
sometimes people are going to try and knock down that wall,
and I hope they do, because then you fail.
Exactly.
You learn from it and you go on.
Build, you know.
Anyone, I say this to anyone: fail quickly and learn from your failure, man.
Yeah.
Fail. If you fail, get excited.
Yeah.
You know, you lost a lot of things in one day. You lost a lot of money. You lost a few people. I put it this way: Brendan messaged me yesterday. We're always looking for guests on the show, and he messaged someone on Instagram, DM'd them, you want to be on the show, blah blah blah, and she just left him on red, and he goes, "How dare she? Who does she think she is?" Blah blah blah, goes on. I'm like, Brendan, listen, that's great, because then we don't have to waste our time. She said she's not interested, so be it. Let's move on. Next person. Because it's one of those things, man. It's an assembly line. Like, listen, are you interested in this? No, you're not. Okay, cool. Let me go on because you're wasting my time. Oh, you are interested in this? Okay, let's set a date now. Like, let's get this thing going.
Yeah. Yep.
And this isn't just with what we're doing. This is with business in general.
Yeah.
Like, you want to get a loan to start your business? Go to banks. You want to get products or clientele? What are the apps we need? What are the like, can we set up an email chain for these people? We have to get an ABN, we have to get a tax file number, we can't get any other stuff. We're wasting our time, let's focus on something else. Oh, this just happened. You just fail quickly. I encourage you to fail.
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously, man. I wish people would rather
put
ask
themselves
me,
in situations where they failed more. They're too
I wish people would ask me
comfortable.
more what my greatest failures are.
Yeah.
Not my greatest achievements.
Yeah.
If someone in an interview said to me, where do you think you've gone wrong in your life, but you've learned severely a severely strong lesson from it? I wish they said that to me.
It's a very clever question, because
you're like, sure, you can go on about all day about how successful you are, but like, can you tell me where you've actually failed and you've learned something? You get knocked down, you don't get up straight away, you sit there and you think about what knocked me down, and then you get up.
Like you said, we went to work sometimes and we were like bawling our eyes out before work. That's a tough time in our life. Like, shit. Yeah. There was some tough times in our lives anyway.
Those were hard times, man. Like, don't get me wrong, the first 3 months were great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the veil lifted, and then things got really real quick, man. Like I remember like, you know, my pop died. He died on me, and this was like before Christmas, and I was already working a lot. I was already tired. I I was seeing the person, my ex at that time still, and we were in the kitchen, man. We're just cooking, and I think something might have been wrong. You might have picked up on something, and I was just washing dishes, and you said to me how you don't understand how I can take all the stuff I've taken and keep going forward. You said that you're like the strongest person I know. How do you have all these things happen to you and you keep going? You keep getting up every day and just taking the day on. I think I bawled out crying when you said that, man. You had to come and hug me, and it was
remember that.
It was a really hard time, even with you, man. Like you know, not with work and everything. And, And you were just really lost for a bit because life wasn't good to you either at that stage, man.
No.
I wish it was good for us, but we wouldn't be where we are if it was.
Exactly. I definitely wouldn't be the man that I am today.
Same. If this was an easy year, then I'd be a softie.
Yeah.
I would not have anything going for me right now.
It'd be so, And that's why I encourage people to sort of get more into the situations where they do fail. You know, don't be afraid to fail. It happens.
No, hell no. Seriously.
Like I said, I've had... people that I work with now are genuinely surprised of how many jobs that I've worked and how many jobs I've been sacked from, how many jobs let me go and stuff like that. It's not because of work ethic. It was never because of work ethic. It was more because, you know, I was not suited for that role. And that was not my dream, my bigger goal and stuff like that.
Well, I learned something really valuable the other day about work. A family friend of ours, she and I had like a FaceTime dinner. She's in Wollongong, and she said to me that you know how many jobs I've had, and I said to her, I actually got so embarrassed when you asked me that one question, where are you working now? Because I'm like, shit, how many jobs have I had recently? Like, I'm changing jobs every 6 months. What's wrong with me? Why can't I keep a job? And she said, no, I didn't mean like you're not working hard or anything. I just meant that, you're obviously not happy where you are, and you've taken the time to decide to find something else where you will be happy. And I looked at it that way. I'm like, I didn't even think about that. I literally just thought that if I can stay in one job for years on end, I'll be okay. Yeah. I'll be happy. So I'm like, yeah, that just lifted the whole veil for me. I just changed my thought and made me realize that it's okay if I want to change jobs because I'm not happy, man. Like, yeah.
No, exactly right. I agree.
Same with you, man. Like, yeah. Obviously, you got sacked and people didn't get back to you, and that was what was messed up about it. You're a good bloke that deserves the world, and people trample you. I'll say this. I'll never forget these words. My last job, a guy said to me in the performance review, they really climbed into my personality, and they go, Llewellyn, you're a nice guy, but being a nice guy only gets you so far. Wow. And they went into it.
Yeah, right.
So, Mr. Bogie, being a nice guy only gets you so far. So, it's about time we get vicious, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Gotta get the dog out of you, and
we were trampled on, and now we take what's ours. Exactly. You go back and buy the buildings where all the doors were shut on us.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the way I see it.
That's exactly right, mate. And there's a little bit of pettiness involved, but it's more of a
lot of pettiness.
It's just more of a proving people wrong sort of thing. I love that mindset. As much as it's because I watched a lot of Kobe Bryant. He did a lot of the same things. Obviously,
yeah, he's a machine.
Exactly. Work hard his whole life to achieve goals, and he did. Like, he'd rock up to training before people. He'd
leave after everyone.
Everyone else. He
dribbled on weekends when no one invited him to parties. He'd go and dribble, dribble, and that's where he got his talent from, man.
Exactly.
Working hard,
and height helps and everything like that. Like, you got to be gifted at what you're doing, but hard work can get you pretty much anywhere. So it's like,
if you can work harder than your competitor, if they're up at 5 a.m, you get up at 6 a.m. Actually, you get up at 4 a.m, not 6 a.m. It's even like CEOs like Elon Musk. They would tell you things like, you can get, if you, worked, 80 hours a week or something, you can get like something that takes you 12 months done in like 3 or 4 months. You know, like you could literally cut it down into a quarter of the time if you worked really hard.
I've met a lot of talented people in my life, but I haven't really met many hard-working people.
Well, you wouldn't meet them. They're too busy working.
Yeah. And that's why I want to keep that sort of mindset. I want to be like the ghost, the shadow that does it in the background and then reaps the rewards later. I don't want to be the...
Hush about it.
Yeah, exactly right.
You sit down... Yeah, you're dead on socials. No one really knows what you're doing on socials.
No, I deleted them for a while.
But
that was probably the most cleansing experience of my life.
Same. And I did that with you. We both did that.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, this feels great, man.
How weird is it?
This feels great. Like,
I found it fantastic because
you're not like
nobody's annoying me.
You're not checking your feed. No. You're not like I think we did that for Facebook and Instagram, man. Like we just got both of them out of the way, and that was an eye opener. And then like months later, when I re-downloaded Facebook and Instagram, I noticed like the way I use it changed. I don't like every single post. I don't comment on things. I just go through them, ignore them, and then this person's annoying me. Unfollow. This person doesn't really post anything meaningful. Unfriend. Unfollow this page. It changed my whole perspective on the thing.
Man,
it's cleansing. It's
100%.
It's a detox.
You'd think you'd miss out on a lot, but you don't.
No,
that's the thing. You don't miss out on a lot because people tell you about things anyway.
Yeah,
especially during the COVID time.
But you've got no one to compare yourself to as well.
That too.
You don't have this comparison all of a sudden.
Yeah.
This person's finally, gone and got an award for. Footy club or whatever. Like,
I don't care what cappuccino you had today, love. I'm fucking on my grind. I don't care.
Yeah. Your cappuccino and your avocado shell. Like what? Yeah, you're just like, listen. I'm putting my head down, and I'll catch up to all that stuff in 30 years' time. Mm-hmm. But for now, even when you talk to them, the conversation becomes more meaningful because you don't know all this stuff.
Yeah.
You're like, oh no way, you've tried a cappuccino in an avocado shell. Yeah. Where'd you go? Where was this?
Yeah. And you say stuff like. I remember someone was telling me that one of my mates got married and had a house and everything, and I didn't know because I was that far off the mark until like I met up with him one day and he's like, I'm having my wedding soon. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You're engaged?
Yeah, congrats.
Like, whoa.
And then the reaction...
Like, how did you not know that? I'm like, I'm not on socials. I
don't follow anything,
Exactly.
I'm not with the times.
And, like...
There's nothing wrong with that.
It was so good. I could do it again, but... ultimately, I've got some social stuff that I do need for work and etc. like that. But I could definitely do it again. I don't see a problem with not having it again. It's just
I don't care. Yeah,
exactly. Like I said, I'm not as active on it anymore like I was.
If you stop chasing the likes and the thumbs up and stuff, it's the best, man. That currency does not pay off.
Exactly, and people were freaking out that it got shut down. How you have. Snapchat that'll fucking go down for say.
Facebook went down for a day.
Facebook went down.
I was like, did it? I was
cool.
like asleep when it happened, bro.
Yeah, I was like, cool. Who cares?
The stock price just dropped. That's good. But and I also found people were so surprised by it. They're like, what? Wow, that's brave. I'm like, no, you can do it too.
It's not that hard.
Your phone has the same ability as mine to delete and download apps. You can delete it. Yeah, but I need it for this, but I need it for that. They get worried. They get really, really concerned when you say... I'll give you a good example. In school, there's this one guy. He only stayed at the school for a semester. But he... I was good friends with him. He's not at the school anymore, obviously. And I was playing a game on my phone. One of those Clash of Clans games or whatever it was. And out of nowhere, he just said to me, I said to him, I'm playing this too much. I should actually stop as I'm playing it. And he says to me, delete it. I'm like, what? Delete it right now. Delete that app right now. I was freaking out, like, what? I have to delete this now? What? But I did it. I went and deleted the app. It's just free. It's like, whoa, I was so worried to delete it, but now that it's gone, I feel like it's amazing. I'm like, just that relief. So that's what you could do with Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, exactly. Oh shit, everything's on here. I have to like things. I have to change my profile picture. No, go and delete it. And it's freedom, bro.
Exactly. The best part was when people saw you again.
Yeah.
I was...
And like, hey, you're off it.
When I deleted it, I wasn't going to the gym. you know, I was a bit skinnier back then because I did lose all my weight, but I didn't go to the gym. I deleted it, went to the gym, come back, and I was swole. I was like, I was in the best shape of my life.
Yeah, and then people were like, whoa.
I had a beard, I had my mustache going, I had everything.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, I was the man. I felt like the man. I was like, I'd go to clubs, I'd still go to clubs and stuff like that, but people try to ask my Snapchat, I don't have it.
Yeah, got
you know, add my number or leave me alone.
Yeah.
Shit like that. Like that was
real.
Yeah.
That was real, man.
You'd be surprised that, you know, even though you can't keep contact with Snapchat and stuff, that girls will still find you interesting. Like, that's what the weirdest part for me was. Like, I thought, because I just wanted to be on my grind.
Yeah.
I didn't want anything to do with women. Females.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it can be a distracting thought. Obviously, love females and stuff.
Of course, man. But you gotta...
Sometimes you just gotta put that shit to the side.
You gotta work alone.
Yeah.
Work on yourself.
But, yeah.
And... Well, as a last question to you, man.
Yeah, go on.
There's one last question to you. How would you feel if I asked you to do this podcast with us?
Wow.
How would you feel if I said to you, listen, Kade, I just recorded some footage. I've got some videos I'd like to have edited because we're working on a YouTube channel. How would you feel if I sent things like that to you to edit for us and have your name on the Finding Borders?
Wow, that's an honour, really. Because
you can say no.
No,
because
I'm all for it. Obviously, I've got to find time because work is pretty flat out. But you know, if I'm not doing anything one week, of course, I'd love that.
Oh, it wouldn't even be a full-time gig, man. It would just be like, it would literally be like if you get an interview, you can bring someone on and go for it by all means, man.
Wow.
But it'd be like a real helping hand as well, and you'd get credit for it. It's not just saying, oh yeah. You'd be like you'd be on the production team.
Jeez.
Be a 4-man band.
Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, no, I'd love to. I mean, I'm all with what Finding Borders is, and I'm all with, you know, what it's representing and how big it's grown already. I can't see why not? I'd love to jump on that bandwagon, bro. I'm all for it. Let's make it happen. Why not?
Well, you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen. Finding Borders is a new host.
Yeah.
Look at that. All right. And on that bombshell, thank you, Kade.
No, I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, man. I look forward to us working together then.
Oh, well, that's it. Fucking hip hip hooray.
Yeah, man, from the bay to the universe.
I'm not going to... to find guests for me would be...
Be pretty easy, eh?
It'd be easy, I suppose. I know a few people that I'd like to interview, but I don't know. It'd be hard for me to be professional when it comes to questions like this. But
yeah,
I feel like you, Brendan, and Liam have that professionalism sorted out, the organisation sort of side.
Trying.
I'm just like, I'll be the floater.
We need a fourth man.
I'll be the fourth man. I'll be the floater. I'll be the one that's going.
We need another one, bro.
For sure.
Dead ass, we do.
Yeah.
All right then. I look forward to working with you, bro.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thanking you.